Hello, everyone. I'm Valentina Rodriguez. I'm the release manager for the Kubeflow AI reference platform release 1.11. And here I will be talking about the main features, but also the theme. This release has been done in December 2025. So first, I want to introduce the amazing team behind this release. We had the release manager Shadows, Tarek, Danisha, Alok, but also product manager Tarek. Thank you so much all for your contributions and support during this release. The liaisons really have an amazing job, which is connecting the working groups with the release team. They bring information about the current status of each component, but also they're able to discuss and challenge any of the discussions sometimes on bringing like any challenges or blockers to the community. Thank you so much to the liaisons, Anya, Andy, Tarek, Mateo, Addison, John, Brash, Yumer, and also Milos. And with that, I want to introduce you to Kubeflow. If you are new to Kubeflow, I want to first talk about our website. Our website is the first point of contact for you. It's where you can find and connect with the community. So basically, if you want to connect with the community, there are many meetings and there are many ways you can do this. You can access through Kubeflow Slack channels. You can look on any of them. You can join. All of them are public. That you can also explore the different meetings. And also we do have our calendar here that make it super easy for you to look and see what's going on this week or on the month. With that, if you want to get started, there is a great way here to get started and familiarize with any of these components. And also there are blog opportunities if you're interested in contribute, and also, of course, the GitHub repository. With this, I want to talk about Kubeflow and what Kubeflow is. So Kubeflow is the foundation of tools for AI platforms on Kubernetes. It brings many functionalities and it brings many components. And we have different working groups dedicated to bring you all those great functionalities. And with that, I want to talk about the ML lifecycle. So Kubeflow really connects the different personas. So it's not only about data scientists, but it's also about AI engineers. It is also about platform engineers. It is also about really anyone who wants to build AI, this era of AI within agentic or predictive, whatever it is that you are doing. Kubeflow has use cases for you. So we do have generative AI use cases on our website if you want to take a look. But looking into the ML lifecycle, if we focus on the data scientist, ML engineer persona, we look into the data preparation, and then from there move into model development. We optimize this model. We look into train this model, but also fine-tuning this model to teach a specific skill. Then we serve the model at the end, right? And then we go through those iterations process. So we serve this model, we make it available to any AI applications that want to consume that model. It could be anything. It could be a chatbot, it could be an agent, or many other type of applications. And that connects with model registry, which also stores the model metadata and artifacts. But also within the data preparation, there is feature generation that can connect with the feature store. This is also not only for development. Kubeflow is also for production stage. So you can bring many of these stages all the way from when you start with the data, all the way until you start the model. And this is each of the components and how they operate on the different aspects and life cycle of the AI/ML, looking into Spark operator for data preparation. We have notebooks also for model development, Khatib for that, bringing that optimization within the model, high parameter tuning, the training operator that the community created a new component that is called trainer that will talk about this, but also serving the model with K-serve. We have Feast, that is the component that manages the feature store, and also the model registry component that, as I mentioned, is for the storing the model metadata and model artifacts. So with that, I will be start talking about each component and in high level features of each release. Each component, we invite you all to explore the documentation on the website, but also on the GitHub repository. Each working group really works hard on each release, and each component has its own release cadence. They list all the features that are being released there. So here is just only a glimpse for you to have an idea of what is there available for you. So within this, I want to talk about what are the versions that we are releasing with the Kubeflow AI reference platform 1.11, notebooks 1.10, and dashboard 1.10, pipelines 2.15, Katir 0.19, trainer is 2.1.0, but the training is 1.9.2. Kserve is 0.15.2, and model registry is 0.34. Spark operator is 2.4.0. And what is Kubeflow AI reference platform? So I explained that Kubeflow brings all those many functionalities, and each component brings these functionalities. But Kubeflow, the AI reference platform, or we call it the manifest, is really what it brings all these components together in a form that is easy for you to install. So we tested this in the Kubernetes version 1.33. We use customized version 5.7.1. We also add some functionalities within certificate manager, Knative, OAuth to proxy and Istio, and these are the versions that we have been used for this release. With this, the Kubeflow platform manifest has many features in terms of security. One of them is the hard multi-tenancy for S3 storage using per namespace credential. So using C with FS for bake S3, introduces strict namespace isolation with independent credentials, and this prevents this cross-tenant data access, which is critical for security. But also within network policies, like really blocking those access using the default deny all policy. And this is critical for all system namespaces. This allows us to start then granularly adding specific network policies to these namespaces and blocking everything that is not defined as allowed. We have done this for Istio system, Knative, Survey, Insert Manager, OAuth to proxy, and out. Reduce Istio sidecar scope and exposure, and also working with post security standards to include a stronger security posture by default. So these post security standards is restricted and for systems namespaces and baseline for user namespaces. So as you can see, security is something that the community also brings on different components and of course on the manifest. With that, I want to move into Kubeflow Trainer. So this is a new component that the community has released months ago, but it's continued to be evolving, and the community is working hard in including new features, such as the new API architecture training job, unified training job, API replacing framework-specific CRD. The other thing is looking into training runtime and cluster training runtime, because the main idea with this Kubeflow trainer is really to simplify that experience for the users, not only for the data scientists, but also for platform engineers. We really wanted to make the separation of concerns, so really making easily for you and everyone to adopt AI technologies and move, faster without being an expert on Kubernetes. We really want the data scientists to focus on what they love, which is like training the model within this specific component. So the other thing is bringing the Python first experience. So looking, as I mentioned, try to removing any complexity. So no YAML file required, and also local execution for model development. So without the need of a cluster. The other thing is looking into different ways of how you can deploy Kubeflow Trainer. In this case, for example, you can use Helm charts. So you can do a Helm install Kubeflow Trainer, as it shows in this example. Next, bringing that LLM fine-tuning, which also applies, to generative AI, looking into different ways of improving and adding those skills that you need for the model so you can implement different use cases. So this is looking into built-in torch-tune trainer with Llama 3.2, pre-configured runtimes, but also LoRa, QLoRa, and Dora for parameter-efficient fine-tuning, dataset, and model initializer for Hugging Face and S3. But also the data for us is important, and we know for you is important as well. So our functionality within Trainer, that is data cache, the community has been working as well, and the adding more functionalities between the distributed AI data cache, which is optional memory cache for fast dataset streaming to GPU nodes. The other thing is scheduler, the scalability performance that is always critical. So looking into queue topology aware scheduling for train jobs, Volcano with GAN scheduling with both group support, MPI, first class support for MPI workloads on Kubernetes. So bringing all these functionalities to make, training models easier. We add some of the coming soon functionalities, new runtime frameworks, Shax runtimes, XGBoost, Light GVM runtimes, Flux framework plugin for HPC, and MPI, Bootstrap, observability, train job progress tracking with exposed training metrics, job management, TDL for training jobs, and also, of course, data cache enhancements, tensor caching support. So stay tuned about these new functionalities, connect with the working groups to learn more about this. I know some of these are already implemented, so stay tuned. With this Kativ, of course, we need to talk about how to bring that precision, that accuracy within the models, and that brings into how we can bring more functionalities within Kativ. So training job integration, out-of-the-box support for Kubeflow, this new trainer, B2, training job. So run hyperparameter tuning, experiments with a new API, but also unify SDK as well to install Kubeflow and interact with Kubeflow, a new optimizer client as well for hyperparameter optimization. And this is how a latest diagram of hyperparameter tuning. So here is you can interact with the Kubeflow Python SDK, and you will be working with some of the hyperparameter tunings that you can use. And then from that, you can create experiment. Once you create that experiment, the experiment controller will create a suggestion on those hyperparameters, and that will go into the evaluation. This, once it goes into the evaluation, this will run on different trials. They can run in parallel. So the whole idea of Katir is also is about optimization, but also it's about doing this scale. So you can do this in parallel in order to reduce costs and save time. With that, all of this is collected into metrics as well. So moving on, I want to talk about Kubeflow pipelines, which is our way for data scientists to automate the processes of training these models and adding more functionalities. So with this, the Kubernetes native API mod is included in this release, such as including allow pipeline definitions to be stored as CRDs rather than in an external database. But also pipeline run workspaces. So those are also allowing artifacts to be stored in PVCs mounted on the component. C with FS as well as a default object storage. So this could be, this has been updated from Manio to SID with FS. And then, of course, the encryption across the KFP backend, across the backend, and it is a pod-to-pod TLS. So this, we have support for encryption in the communication of pod-to-pod. You can explore the whole release within this link.
Here are the updates for the model registry working groups. In previous releases, we introduced indeed model registry capabilities through the means of the APIs of the server. And then now in this new release, there are updates, especially big updates in the UI for a user-friendly way of managing through the Kubeflow dashboard, integrated in the Kubeflow dashboard, with this graphical user interface to manage the metadata. And you can use that one indeed to manage your models, their versions, tracking, the artifact, especially when it comes to metadata. There is also some update with regards to the Kserve integration. In previous releases, we had a custom storage initializer that is integrated with the model registry. With this new release, we are introducing a new capability, a reconcile loop. This reconcile loop observes the Kubernetes ISVC API and populate the model registry. So you can see this new capability as a complementary option to the previous one. And later in today's video, there is going to be a demo from Alessio, that is a contributor for the model registry, so that you can delve into more details over there. When it comes also to other updates, we had introduced a concept of a model catalog as a pattern. And therefore, we have a server capability that is called the model catalog. This is a completely brand new capabilities, and it's a way to help with the model discovery and sharing the governance of the within your company. So the idea is that if you are deploying the model catalog, this is a way that the admin or some high-level stakeholder can define which are the vetted models that the user should use in their organization. So it's more of a concept that somebody like an admin or a high-level stakeholder defines which are the models that are indeed available through the users, and then some flow that starts with that one. Think, for example, you can take the model from the model catalog, start to register it as version 1 in model registry, and then you will have your fine-tuning, your alignment job that comes of it, and therefore you start to have a model lineage that starts with a second version, a third version that is aligned to what you need. So this is the pattern that we are introducing. You can find more in the documentation. The UI is still a work in progress, so this is a screenshot that introduces what is available, and you can reach to the repo. There is some work that we are doing to make this smoother. So this is a way that indeed you can use a new pattern completely available, and this is also in relation to an upcoming rename for the working group that is going to be called Kubeflow Hub. We got a validation from the Kubeflow steering committee that this is validated. So indeed, we are now executing on that plan in order to indeed offer to you not only a capability of the model registry, but now also of this model catalog. We have also updates with regard to storage integration. In previous versions, we had the capability to help the end users or the data scientists to store and then register the metadata using the model registry Python client. So indeed, think about it as a way that the data scientist doesn't need to know the full nitty-gritty details about how to store it, especially when it comes to OCI storage. And we helped with some convenience function also for S3 and others. So with this version, we introduced the concept of a Kubernetes storage job. So this is a vanilla Kubernetes job, so it doesn't introduce any Kubernetes dependencies on this integration. And what we are doing is that we are offering like an interface, a contract of this job that performs that operation that you can do through the model registry Python client, but through a job execution. When this can be helpful. This can be the case when, for example, you wanted to use the capability of Kubernetes to indeed migrate, say, models from one source, say Hugging Face or some HTTP location, indeed to an S3 internally, or it may be that you don't want to do the packaging of OCI Kserve model car, and the job can do that for you. So just as a reminder, Kserve has the concept of model car that reuses OCI infrastructure, and in this case is like you just delegated this one as well through the job. So in both cases, both are pure Python ways, so it doesn't require any container runtime engine to perform this packaging as a Kserve model core. And we're integrating this one for the storage. So I invite you to stay for the demo of Alessio of the reconcile loop that I mentioned earlier, and then you can find us in the bi-weekly meeting that you can find in the Kubeflow calendar. Thank you, and to Alessio.
Hi, in this video I'll show you a new feature from the model registry, the inference service controller. This controller manages the lifecycle of inference services that are linked to models registered in a model registry. It tracks deployments and keeps the registry in sync when models are deployed or undeployed. Let's see it in action using the latest release of Kubeflow. We will start from a Jupyter notebook that we already deployed in our cluster. First, we install the required packages. Then, we will continue by setting up the model registry Python client. Alright, now we continue by registering our model. Then we can verify the registration by retrieving the model, its version, and the artifact. Each of these has a unique ID that we'll use in the next step. And here's where the magic happens. We create a Kserve inference service, but we add special labels, the register model ID and the model version ID from our registry. These labels are what connect our deployment to the model registry, because the controller watches inference services with those labels. Alright, we created it. Now let's check the Kubeflow dashboard. Let's go to the Kserve endpoints. And here we can see that our deployment has been created. Let's wait for it to be ready. Alright. Please notice that now there is an additional label, the inference services ID. These were created by our controller, confirming that now it's tracking this deployment. We can also verify this through the model registry API. So let's first check for the saving environments. This entity tracks the namespace where the model has been deployed. As you can see, the name is the same as the namespace where we deployed our model. Then let's query for inference service on the model registry. And here you can see that the desired state is set to deployed, so that our deployment is now registered and tracked by the controller. Now let's see what happens when we delete the inference service from the dashboard. Let's wait for it to be deleted. Alright. Now let's query the inference services again, and notice that the desired state is now set to undeployed. And that's it. Thanks for watching.
Hello, everybody. In Kubeflow 1.11, the Spark operator brings a set of aggregated improvements that significantly enhance how Spark workloads are run and managed on Kubernetes compared to Kubeflow 1.10, so the previous version. There's a strong focus on future-proofing Spark itself. The operator now supports Spark version 4 and introduces Spark Connect. This enables more modern client-server interactions and opens the door for new ways of developing and operating Spark applications. Workload control has also improved substantially. Spark applications can now be suspended and resumed, which is critical for cost-efficient and interruptible workloads. In addition, there are better controls around dynamic allocation, shuffle tracking, memory management, allowing platform teams to enforce safer defaults while still giving flexibility to users. The time zone-aware scheduling and improved resource handling also make Spark jobs more predictable in production environments. Finally, from an operational perspective, the Spark operator is easier to run and maintain. CRDs are upgraded automatically during Helm installs. Legacy tooling has been removed in favor of standard Kubernetes workloads, and networking, security, and logging are all more configurable. Together, these changes make Spark on Kubeflow more stable, scalable, and production-ready in Kubeflow 1.11. We also have a new name for our bi-weekly calls. It's called Spark on Kubernetes. Meeting times are bi-weekly on Fridays, 9 a.m. PST. Here's the Linux Foundation Zoom link so you can join our calls. Also, please join the Kubeflow Spark on Kubernetes Slack channel. And we'd love to have you join the calls. If you're interested in Spark on Kubernetes, want to demo some Spark related work, contribute, or just follow along with what's happening in the community. Thank you.
And with that, I want to welcome you all to join the Kubeflow community. These are the links, the website, as I show you, how to join the community, the Slack, and how to get started with Kubeflow. And with that, thank you so much for listening. We're really looking forward to seeing you in our meetings. And if we would love for you to start contributing or just reaching out. So thank you so much.